The base might have been in space. It had been built at enormous effort and expense. It was surrounded by a hostile environment into which humans could venture only with elaborate life support systems. The base was the nucleus of an elaborate attack and defense system. Its inhabitants lived lives of constant tension, perpetually under the shadow of planetary annihilation. It might have been in space, but it wasn't. Space stations had proved too vulnerable, too exposed to spy satellites and the searing blast of laser beams. In the early years of the 21st century, mankind concealed many of its weapons of destruction beneath the seas. Seabase 4 crouched like a giant metal spider in the black depths of the ocean floor. It waited, like every other sea base, for any hint of an attack from the other side. Such an attack would unleash a swarm of proton missiles in massive retaliation. East confronted West, hostile, suspicious, waiting. Yet neither side realized that there were other enemies beneath the sea, beings equally hostile to both sides alike, creatures who regarded all mankind as primitive apes who had stolen the planet Earth from its rightful owners. Mankind's oldest enemies had awakened once more, and they were poised to attack. Outside Seabase 4 was only the cold green darkness of the ocean depths. Inside, everything was gleaming, modern, brightly lit. The predominating color was a dazzling white, as if designed to counter the threatening blackness that lurked outside. Seabase personnel moved busily along the corridors and catwalks, wearing the distinctive cross-belted coveralls of the undersea service. Uniforms were color-coded according to rank and function. Blue for officers, reds and greens and greys for the different specializations. Moving amongst the brighter colors were the drab khaki uniforms of the radiation squad, responsible for the base's nuclear reactor. They alone wore sidearms and helmets. In the unlikely event of the base being attacked, they would double as Marine guards. In the central control room, referred to as the bridge, instrument consoles hummed gently. Glowing blips chased each other across monitor screens, and the steady electronic beep of scanner systems filled the air. Commander Vorshak sat at the central command console staring broodingly at a monitor screen. Vorshak was a tall, dark-haired man in his mid-40s. Elegant in his dark blue coverall, Vorshak had the rugged good looks of a recruiting poster hero, much to his own embarrassment. Clustered around him were his officers, the ever-calm, coldly reserved Controller Nilsson, Lieutenant Preston, a pleasant, capable-looking woman in her 20s, Lieutenant Bulick, the burly combat officer in charge of the Marine Guard. There was an emergency. Vorshak studied the moving blip on the screen, listened to the steady accompanying electronic beep. He looked up at Bulick. "What do you think?" Bulick paused for a moment, assessing the data. "Too small to be a hunter-killer missile. Could be one of their probes, though, trying to locate our position." Vorshak swung round to a nearby sub-console. "Maddox, let's have a computer scan." The computer console stood a little apart from the rest. Beside the console, and linked to it, stood an empty chair with a helmet-like apparatus suspended above. The sync-op chair. Somehow, people avoided mentioning or even looking at it. At the console by the chair, Maddox, a thin-faced and nervous young man, sat staring abstractedly in front of him. Vorshak's sudden command jolted him into awareness. Feverishly, he set to work, fingers clumsy on the instrument panel. Vorshak watched him impatiently. Maddox was new, a temporary emergency replacement, and Vorshak had little patience with him. From a nearby console, a dark-haired young woman with attractive features looked sympathetically at Maddox's fumblings. Lieutenant Karina was the scanner officer, and she had been worried about Maddox for some time.